What would you do if 9/11 happened right now? Wouldn't you be posting about it, grieving about it, talking about it?
What was your favorite singer?
Justin Bieber.
Of course.
I mean, I'm Palestinian. I was born in Palestine. I lived my whole entire life there. I'm not going to go kill my people for a cause I don't believe in.
Did you ever think, I hate this?
I did. العرا صبتها يحسس عليها, which means whoever has a head wound keeps feeling it.
I'm here in the studio with Minna from Palestine. Welcome to the show and thank you so much for visiting me today. Is it Minna or Minna?
So my real name is Minnatullah. It's a compound name, but nobody calls me Minnatullah. Not even my family, not my mom, nobody. It's just
That's
kind
a pretty name.
It means gift from God. So
Minnatullah.
Allah is God. Minna is gift. So, but everybody calls me because it's Americanized Minna.
Minna. Okay, that's a pretty name.
Thank
Very
you.
pretty. Before we start, I wanted to clarify something with you. Yesterday, when I was preparing for this interview, I Googled Palestine. And on Russian Google, it says that Palestine is a state and it's in a process of developing independence. Mm-hmm. And then when my boyfriend Googled it, it says that it's a country. Mm-hmm. What is Palestine?
Palestine has been a country for thousands of years. Palestine was occupied under British rule in the early 1900s. And then after the Holocaust, they didn't know what to do with the situation, so they brought a bunch of the Jewish people into Palestine. We welcomed them into our country, and then things didn't work out very well. They occupied us. Mm-hmm. And since 1948, they declared the country as their own, but we still exist in there, so they divided us into the West Bank and Gaza. Hence, they call us the State of Palestine, but we are still a country, we are still people, we are Canaanites and the original Semites.
Mm-hmm. So it's a country, not a state.
It is a country. I identify as Palestinian. I don't identify from the State of Palestine.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. And I know that it's located between Jordan and Israel.
Right.
And Palestine also has a beautiful city called Jerusalem there,
It
right?
is.
And it's the capital of Palestine and
Israel.
Mm-hmm. That was the confusing part for me too.
It is a holy city, which is why it's so controversial. It actually combines all three Abrahamic religions, Islam, Christianity, and Judaism. So for one to have a right over it doesn't seem right. So we all do pilgrimage to Jerusalem because it signifies so much to all three parties.
Yes. And yesterday I was watching a travel show about that, and there was a lot of Russian people there because I am Christian. This is the cross I'm wearing, and the Jerusalem way, it was where the Jesus was walking with the cross.
Correct.
So I watched that and I was like, that's crazy. I never knew that.
And actually, I was born about like 15, 20 minutes away from where Jesus was born, which is Bethlehem. And actually, I went and visited again 2 years ago, and it was beautiful. Because we still believe in Jesus as Muslims. We just believe in him as a prophet.
That's right. So you are Muslim.
I am Muslim.
Interesting. Okay. So let's share a little bit about your background now. Mm-hmm. Tell me about your life in Palestine. How was it like for you?
I grew up with both my parents there. And my mom was a school principal and a professor at a university there teaching linguistics, English linguistics. And then my dad was a carpenter. He worked in Palestine. My parents are first cousins, but that is very common where I'm from.
Ah, interesting. Okay.
I lived in Palestine up until I was 12, and then my mom and I fled and came here alone to St. Louis. And we left my brother and my dad over there. My brother is 6 years older than me.
Wow. Okay. So you moved here at the age of?
12.
Yes. Yeah. So you still remember your life in Palestine? Everything about Palestine. How did your family react, or the rest of your family, I should say, to your decision of moving to the U.S.?
So I also didn't just have my immediate family there. I had thousands of cousins. I had a wet nurse. So in Palestine, if you as a child get breastfed by a woman that's not your mother, in Islam Sharia, that becomes a mother to you, and the children of that mother are also prohibited from being like a future husbands or potential partners to you. So I have, additionally to my family, I have 6 brothers and 2 sisters.
Wow.
So leaving them was also very, very difficult. But when we left, we didn't tell anyone. We kind of fled. So nobody knew. and the reaction was not very welcomed. We left under DV circumstances, so it was an escape for us to kind of get out of that situation. It's not a cultural situation; it's more of family issues. There's a reason why my mom took this decision to flee to the United States. My family didn't take it very well. My uncles turned against all of us. My dad was very angry, kind of rightfully so, but we were escaping that situation. So the assaulter is never going to be apologetic about it. It took a while for my mom to mend her relationship with my brother. My mom is actually going to see my brother for the first time again here this month since 2012.
Wow.
She hasn't seen him.
That's one of a kind story of immigration to the U.S.
Yeah.
As a 12-year-old girl, did you know anything about America when you were moving here?
I was a big fan of the pop culture here.
Of course.
I love pop culture, as any kid would.
What was your favorite singer?
Justin Bieber.
Of course. Classic. I know this.
I mean, it was 2012. He was the biggest,
Of course.
I love Justin Bieber. But my mom had came to visit before, and she brought so much, about the country with her. Because she was, part of this university there, so they did a lot of interpersonal, relations with the United States at the time. So she sold me the idea. But I thought for me, it was the American dream. For me, it was like, you're free. You have the opportunities are endless.
And you're going to see Justin Bieber.
And see Justin Bieber. But beyond that, I always wanted to be a doctor. I knew since I was like in third grade that I wanted to be a doctor. And in Palestine, we have a different system for education than we do here. Once you reach your last year of high school there, you are pretty much learning all the subjects and memorizing them from the front of the book to the end of the book. And you have to score a 99% every subject in order to be considered a potential for medical school, just because of how competitive it is. The biggest difference between here and Palestine is how much they emphasize on education. Everybody is good at education. You are expected to be good at education. It's so much stronger. And I thought in the United States it would be even stronger than that. But I, not to talk crap about, the education
You
here.
can, it's okay.
It was underwhelming to me when I came here, but I thought it was amazing. Not to take away from it, the opportunities here still exist. I was not a 99th percentile student when I came here, but I still was able to go to pre-med. So the possibilities are still there. They're easier. In Palestine, if you are not the top 1%, you usually don't make it to these kind of opportunities, which is what I really wanted.
Do you remember your first couple of days in America? What was it like for you when you just landed in America and you saw it for the first time?
A lot of shorts.
A lot of shorts?
Shorts. Yeah, Palestine is a very conservative country. Even Christians and Jewish people dress very conservatively just because they're very righteous in that sense. They're devout.
So long dresses. Is it hijab?
Covered. Hijab is part of my culture. And my mom wore it. We all wore it. So the first couple of days, it was just like, oh my gosh, people here are like, they could walk around like this. But we got over it pretty quickly. But we maintained our morals throughout that whole time. But it was definitely interesting. And when I came here, I didn't speak English, but I did speak what they taught me in school. And what they taught me in school was British English.
Me too.
And
so how do you do? Who is on duty today?
Oh my gosh. So my first week there, they were like, hey, can you read this book here? And it was a math book. I was like, yeah, it's mathematics. And I got bullied for it for a little bit. And then I decided to go mute for 6 months. So I'd go to school every day and not say a single word until I mastered the American accent. And I made myself lose my British accent and during that time. Sometimes it comes out here and there, but it was just because I wanted to blend in so well. I came here to suburbs of St. Louis, so it was all predominantly white neighborhoods, white kids in my school. And white kids, not white kids, but kids in general could be pretty brutal.
Yes, I was going to ask you, how challenging was it for you at the age of 12 to go to American school for the first time, not speaking good enough English, not making any friends? What was it like for you? Did you ever think, I hate this?
I did. Many times, actually. I'm pretty introverted, but because in our town, everybody knew me. I was still able to have those relationships, my childhood friends. But here I came to nothing. For me, the biggest thing was my mom wanted me to live like I was in Palestine, but in America.
Mm-hmm.
And she still kind of does, but it's been years, so she's kind of more accepting of it. And there's nothing wrong with that, but it made it challenging for a 12-year-old to kind of comprehend and understand. Couldn't wear T-shirts at a time, and if she wanted me to dress, modestly, which I understandably, but the kids would be like, well, why can't you dress like this? Why can't you look like that? And it made me kind of stand out a bit. But nothing wrong with standing out. But to me, it was like, no, I don't want to stand out. I want to blend in.
Mm-hmm. Especially as a teenager.
Yeah. And it took me a long time to understand how people converse here. They don't converse the same. They don't converse on the same topics, the same manners as we did in Palestine. So I had to kind of learn social codes. And that took a few years.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Americans are definitely less conservative than people in Palestine because they can just approach you and be like, I like your top.
Right.
Or I like your eyelashes, something like that. And to me, I'm from Russia, so it's not the same as Palestine. It's, we don't wear hijabs, we wear the same clothes, but people don't approach you like that in Russia. They don't say compliments to you just because they actually think you're pretty. They give you looks.
Yeah.
They'll be like, but they don't say anything to you. So when I was approached like that for the first time in Walmart, I immediately was like, do I have a stain on me or something? What is this, a sarcasm? Why do you like my shirt? I was immediately suspicious of that behavior.
Right, me too. It just doesn't make any sense to us. It's not the same mannerisms. But I did appreciate how nice they were.
Very
nice. Even if surface level, they were nice.
Yes, absolutely. So has anyone approached you when you just moved to America and was like, oh, Palestine, you guys are blank, and said something stereotypical?
Nobody knew where I was from. Like, I would tell them, hey, yeah, I'm from Palestine. They're like, and then like days later, they would be talking about it, like, yeah, Minna is from Pakistan. Because at the time, the Palestinian topic was not as big of a topic as it is right now. So what the hell is Palestine? To them, it was like, oh, she's from Pakistan. She's brown. She looks like the type. She's from Pakistan. And at first, I would correct them quite often. And I was like, there's no point. These people are never going to get it right. Now that I'm older, I definitely correct people when they say where I'm from. It's like, you don't take that away from me. That's still who I am.
And how do you still maintain connect? It's been now, how long? 8 years, you said, since you moved?
I came here in 2012, and now it's 2024, so that's 12 years.
12 years. Yeah. Okay. So how do you still maintain connections with your Palestinian culture and background? Do you celebrate the same holidays? Do you still wear hijab on some days? Do you still cook the same food?
It's been very challenging. We don't celebrate the same holidays that Americans do because we're not Christian. We don't celebrate Christmas. Thanksgiving, we try. We cook a chicken. It's just my mom and I or something like that. But it's been very difficult emotionally on us as a family to celebrate our holidays because we don't have off. And if let's say I want to take a day off on my holiday, which is supposed to be 3 days off, they only give me 1 day, and if I miss classes, I still have to make up that work. I don't have a lot of hard classes. I can't afford that. So my mom and I have had, a little tension here, like, why can't you come home for, it's called Eid. Why can't you come home for Eid? I tell her my excuses, and it causes strain sometimes, and it's very hurtful, as a child growing up not being able to celebrate those big holidays that you love because it's simply not recognized here. It's not even in the calendars. Like, I'll go to class and it'll be like any other casual day for my teachers. They don't even know what's going on.
Which I can relate to because every year I celebrate holidays with only my mother as well because we celebrate New Year's more than Christmas, first of all. December 31st is when our New Year's celebration, and Americans don't really care about it. I mean, maybe in New York, but that's about it. And to me, it was very hurtful. I'm also from Siberia, so I miss snow also. So I was like, I hate everything about this. And I also don't speak English. I can't make any friends, and I don't have my family here. So to me, it was just awful.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but don't you guys all celebrate Christmas on a different day?
Yes, January 7th.
Yes, I heard about that.
And like you said, it's just another day for people in America. But for me, it was also kind of sad because I'm like, this is Christmas. We're supposed to be off. We're supposed to, go to church and things like that. But no one cares about it.
And you'd think as a Christian, a lot more people would know about that. But when I tell people, like, oh my gosh, like there's a lot of people from Europe that celebrate on January 7th. That was a
And
hard
also, I've heard that people in Palestine or maybe Israel have different calendar.
We do. We do have a different
So your
calendar.
year starts in September?
So it changes every year. That's why I don't know if you know about Ramadan. Ramadan is actually a month written in our calendar. Every year, it's 10 days earlier. So it's not a fixed date. And that is the reason why is because we follow the moon cycle.
Interesting.
And the moon cycle is each month is 10 days earlier. Each year, sorry. So
what year is it now in Palestine?
we still follow the regular calendar here.
So it's still 2024?
But Islamically and for our holidays, we follow the Muslim calendar. I forget the exact name in English because we call it the Hijjah. But it's different now. But we do still use the same, like, you know, it's October still in Palestine. But when it comes to our holidays, we use...
That's so interesting to me. Wow. I was not expecting that all of what I see on YouTube is going to be true about Palestine. Let's talk a little bit about your life now here in America after 12 years. Share a little bit about yourself now. Are you an American citizen, first of all?
I am.
So you're now an American citizen. You have dual citizenship. You're still a citizen of Palestine as well. Share a little bit about your life now here.
So I wasn't a citizen up until 2021. I took my green card for 8 years, the whole process. I wasn't a refugee. I was an asylee because of my DV circumstances. When I went through basic training, I'm in the military. The reason why I went through the military training is because I didn't have financial funds for college. So after my first semester of college, I decided I was going to join the National Guard, military army. And I went through it. And then while I was there, first month I was there, COVID happened. Because we had enough time in our green card holding, my mom was able to get, we were qualified to get the citizenship. Because I was at basic training and my mom was not, she was able to get her citizenship before I did. So I had to wait another year until after I got out of basic. COVID has, gotten better. And the process has, because everything was shut down during COVID at the time. I had to resubmit everything again and then go and get my citizenship. So it took me a little bit longer.
Sounds like a headache.
But I am a citizen now, thankfully. I haven't been able to vote just because first time we were voting, I was not a citizen. And this year I forgot to
register to vote.
But I am a student now. I am a Missouri State. I'm a senior. I am double major in cell and molecular biology. And then my other, which I already finished. And then my other one is nutrition and dietetics. I like to follow a more nutritional approach to healing instead of Band-Aid, boo-boo medicine that a lot of, big pharma now forces people to take. I want to heal people. I don't want to just cover their wounds with Band-Aids. And that has been incredible. So I'm finishing that up. I'm taking the MCAT next January here upcoming. So
You're a fascinating guest. I am so impressed with you right now.
Appreciate it.
So much already to be proud of after only 12 years here in America. A person with, completely different culture, completely different morals, and still being able to find your American dream and fight for it here in America. Applause goes to you. So you mentioned that you were in the military.
I am.
So as a foreigner in the military, because I will say this too, when I just started my work here on the radio station, I was approached through Facebook asking to join military as well, which I was like, no, I'm not even a citizen. I don't think I can. So how was it like for you to be a foreigner in an American military?
It was incredibly difficult. It was very difficult. I would not have joined the military at the time unless I was in a dire need. But I also had appreciation for the United States. The United States took us in. They didn't have to, but they did. And they gave me the life that I have right now. So I wanted to it's like a thank you for the United States. And I was like, it's National Guard. The idea of me getting deployed is not going to be very high. It is still very high. But my family disowned me. My uncles. They tried to disinherit my dad because of me. And it's been kind of still a struggle, but my dad has still taken my side. It has helped me a lot to get my dream. If it wasn't for the military, I would not have been able to be in school for as long as I have right now. I would not I still probably be in my second year of college because I would have been paying out of pocket for it. And I still had to pay a lot out of pocket, but having the military back me up in that sense has been incredible. a lot of times I've run into heated conversations with people in the military because of how conservative their views are. They don't really know a lot about Palestine, so they assume that my religion is very terrorist-esque, and very closed-minded religion, where my religion is really a religion of peace. They think that my people deserve what they've gotten into them just because they're misinformed. And I've kind of grown into this thing where before I start talking about my background with people, I assess their intelligence. And if they come at me with, a negative remark, I have to make a decision. Is this somebody that I think I can have a respectful conversation with, or should I just let them be?
Mm-hmm.
And it really helped me save a lot of headaches.
Mm-hmm.
But a lot of the people I work with now have been incredibly supportive. They might not understand what's going on with my people and my background and me being Muslim, but they try to at least. I mean, I got introduced to you through somebody from my unit, actually. So that tells you a lot about the current environment of the military that I am partaking in, or the people that I choose to talk.
So since you were in the military, how long were you in the military for? And what are the rules? Are you still because I know that my coworker's husband is I don't know what it's called. It's on call or something, that no matter what happens, no matter where he's at, he still has to go across the ocean and fight for America in a different location. Right. I don't know what it's called, so I apologize for incorrect description of this, but that's what I understood. Is this your situation, or what kind of military were you in?
So when I joined the military, I knew I wanted to go to college. So they say if you go active duty is when you're a full-time soldier.
Mm-hmm.
Your whole every day to day, that's what they go to work for every day. That didn't suit me personally, because I joined to pay back the country, show patriotism, and go to college. So I chose to go to the National Guard. So the National Guard, I show up every month for 1 weekend, and then towards kind of the middle of the year, either between May through July, we do 2 weeks of training as well. But I've been in since 2019, so I hit my 5th year mark. And it's been incredible so far, ups and downs. It's like being in a toxic relationship. You love them and you hate them at the same time.
American military.
We do still get deployed. I haven't been deployed, thankfully. I think me being in college has been a big part of that. Right now I'm in an aviation unit. They say we're never going to get deployed unless they need us to, because aviation, it's a huge company.
Mm-hmm.
They only take certain, when they take people, they take only a small amount. But they could tell me, they could call me at the end and be like, hey, you're on orders. You're going to go to... A lot of my people went to the border mission, which is up in Texas, to, make sure everything there is going well, nothing violent happening around there. Some of my friends are in Kuwait right now, but me so far it hasn't happened to me where I had to go, but they could.
Mm-hmm. If somebody were to call you and say that we are deploying you to Palestine because of everything that's going on there right now in your home country, how would you feel? Would you go, I don't know actually how American military works. Would you be fighting for Palestine or against
Israel.
Palestine?
We are allies of Israel.
Okay, so you would be allies with Israel. So you would have to fight people who...
But I wouldn't.
You wouldn't go?
I had this discussion with my leadership, and I told them, if push comes to shove, I'm not going. And they said, it will be possible for me, as this is their word, not mine, because it will be a conflict of interest.
Mm-hmm.
I would shut down immediately if I had to do that. I don't think I could possibly... I'm very strong mentally, but I am not on the side that we are supporting right now in Israel. And this might be controversial, and I probably shouldn't say this, but I'm Palestinian. I was born in Palestine. I lived my whole entire life there. I'm not going to go kill my people for a cause I don't believe in. And I will put my word for it. I'm very outspoken about that. I don't think it's going to happen, but it could.
Will you go to prison if you say no? Because I've heard that American military has pretty strong rules that, you can't get out of the military, just because you want to. You can't do certain things.
I wouldn't go to prison, but I could put a packet for separation if that's the ultimatum that they give me, or they just simply won't send me. But I will not be going there. I will not be going there.
And it's your choice if you don't want to share this, but when you saw the news about what's happening in Palestine, you were here, right?
I was,
in America.
October 7th, 2023.
How was it like for you? How did you feel?
Well, when it first happened, I was like, they bomb us every year. This is not news. I mean, since I was born, I I got my foot was broken in 2001. My dad had to carry me between mountains to get around the Israelis so he can give me medical help. This is not the first time we've been dealing with this. This has been going on for years. It's been going on since 1948. My grandpa died with the key to his home in his hand. So when they hit us on October 7th, I was like, it's been going on for years. Let's see how long this one is going to go. In 2014, we had about it, I think for a year or two, this was happening. But they were never this atrocious. They were never never carpet bombing to this extent. I mean, it's been going on for years, but how ugly it is going on right now shows me they have ulterior motives. They have already started building blueprints of resorts that they want to put where Gaza is. They're carpet bombing it. They're not just here to retaliate. They're here to have us gone for good. So in the beginning, I shut down. I couldn't, anytime I was with my friends, I wasn't really having a good time because I can't have a good time when my people are dying.
Mm-hmm.
When I open my phone and the first thing I see is Palestinian children dead. That could have been me.
Mm-hmm.
If I was in Palestine, that could have been me. So for a while, I couldn't really function, if that is a word to describe it. I think I felt it too hard and too much. I didn't have the right tools to manage what I was feeling either. And my friends try to help as much as they could, but most of my friends here are American, and they can only understand so much. And, when I would talk about it, they would try to be supportive, but it was never, it never felt right because I'm burdening them with this as well. Like, they're never going to understand. So I learned how to grieve privately. And then for a while, I was posting a lot of what's happening on my own social media, and people would unfollow me. People would swipe up with their misinformation. I would try to inform them, give them the right tools, or tell them, if you want to know what's happening, these are areas where you could explore instead of like Fox News or just Instagram. And it reached a point where my friends were like, maybe you should not post about it so much.
Which is, again, this is your right.
It is my right.
And this is your,
and
country.
It broke my heart. It really broke my heart when I heard that from my friends, because it was like, what would you do if 9/11 happened right now? Wouldn't you be posting about it, grieving about it, talking about it, being angry about it? I'm doing the same exact reaction. But when you're surrounded by people that don't get it, it's hard. But I toned it down for my own mental health, but I still speak about it and I still post about it. Because I'm not going to have anybody stop me from doing it.
See, this is the same parallel to what happened in my life, except that I was on the other side.
Yeah.
When the war happened in Ukraine, it was Russia who attacked Ukraine. And I was on the other side of the problem. My country was the one everybody was hating. And me, every time I would introduce myself to people, people would look at me like I'm covered in trash. They would be completely disrespectful to me and say the most hateful things ever on the internet to me for absolutely no reason. And I was like, I didn't start this war. I'm in America. I'm an American citizen. I have nothing to do with this. And to me, it was like me on the other side. So I was like, I'm feeling guilty that I'm Russian now at this point. So I didn't know what to do. I felt incredibly sad because my godmother is Ukrainian and she is in Russia. So I have no contact with her anymore. Every Ukraine friend that I've had here in Springfield, no contact with them anymore. So to me, it was like me on the other side. And I remember it like it was yesterday when I posted a picture of myself, which was an old picture that I just like renewed on Facebook of me in this Russian scarf saying, I've never felt more Russian before. This girl messaged and said, how dare you support genocide in Ukraine? I was like, that's just a picture of me in a scarf. How do you think this says that I'm supporting killing people in Ukraine?
It becomes also kind of a woke thing. It's like the woke agenda. It's like, I didn't do anything. Like in your case, like I've literally just been born in that country. I've moved here. I have a podcast about the American dream. And it just becomes like, oh, you're Russian, you support, genocide. Oh, you're Jewish, you support genocide. Oh, you're Muslim, you support terrorists. You support Hamas. Like that whole thing. And it becomes kind of like
annoying.
It becomes this like social media thing that they use to weaponize what people are going through against people that are not even involved. And I really want to make the statement right now. This has never been a religious war. For my country, at least. I have a lot of Jewish friends. I support my Jewish friends if they're not supportive of genocide. It has never been a religious war. It's always been a political one. Zionism and Semitism are not the same thing. They're not equal. And any hate towards Jewish people, I do not condone. I do condone, confronting the Zionist agenda, but I don't condone hate towards any religious party. That is simply, it's not about that. It's never been about that. It's always been a political one. Same thing for you.
Absolutely. This is probably the saddest and the most serious episode I have ever done on the American Dream podcast, but I feel like it needed to be said because I'm getting approached still to this day, every single day, asking, what do you think about the Ukraine war?
Yeah.
Because you're from Russia. You're the country that attacks Ukraine. What do you think about that? And I have to say, I am American citizen. I am not in Russia. I haven't been there in 10 years. I don't know anything about it. I know as much as you do from American news. I don't know anything.
Yeah.
And so you are on the other side. You're the country that is being attacked. So people are probably approaching you with a different mental state, asking, how can we help? Or, maybe we hate you.
Yeah.
Something like that. It's probably one of those two
between
options.
the Ukrainian and the Ukraine war with Russia, then the Palestine one with Israel. In Ukraine and Russia, there's two opposing sides. They're both fighting. Mm-hmm. We don't have opposing sides. We're just getting bombed. We're just getting bombed in Palestine. And in Ukraine, there's more support because it's a Western country as well. So for me, when I get approached, it's either one of the two. It's like, do you support Hamas? Mm-hmm. And they call it Hamas. There's no Ha in Hamas. It's Hamas, first of all. Or, I'm so sorry for your loss. How can I help? Mm-hmm. Or I'm so sorry, I've heard about what's happening. So it's either like people want to challenge me for who I am, like you are, or as a Russian, or people be like, I heard what happened. I'm so sorry. But usually they don't know more about what to say. I don't want to put her business out there, but I had a friend approach me a few days ago. It was when October 7th, 2024 happened. I had posted on my story saying it's been a year of war in my country. And she's like, hey, I'm so sorry. I know it's been hard for you for the past year that Hamas has been bombing your people. I was like, thank you so much for what you're saying. But it breaks my heart even more that you think that we're getting bombed by our own people. We're getting bombed by Hamas when it's Israel that's bombing us. And she was shocked because that's what the media has been telling everybody in the United States. It's that media thing again. Because we support Israel, we kind of shift our focus from what's actually happening, the propaganda. So they're saying that Hamas is bombing us, but that's not the case. Hamas is a small organization made of orphans that want to fight back repression. So
media misinformation.
And she was very guilty about it. But I told her not to be guilty because she's a product of her environment, what she's seeing on social media. And that's she was like, I want to inform more people that this is not the case.
And that's exactly what we're doing here today on the American Dream podcast. Okay, so let's shift our focus a little bit towards the point of this podcast, which is the American Dream. Let's brighten up this episode a little bit. So you've been here for 12 years.
I haven't.
And it's been hard for you, and it's been exciting for you, too, on some moments. Of course, there's black and white moments in everyone's life. Did you have an American dream when you moved here? Did you know what you want from America?
Yeah. I learned when I was in Palestine, 3rd grade, the whole circulatory system. And from that day until the rest of my days, I knew I wanted to be a doctor. So the American dream, again, I'm working towards it. It hasn't been easy, but it's been tangible for me. I've been able to touch things. I've been able to touch the steps of me getting to my dreams. So in high school, I took all these, call them PLTW classes, Project Lead the Way. I took the pre-med route for that. And it was amazing. And when I came to college, I was like, I'm pre-med. And been really hard studying here. A lot of times a language barrier because I do speak very good English and I read a lot of books, but a lot of the medical terminology has been
God, I can't even imagine. When I took biology in high school here, I could not understand anything.
But what makes me stay happy is because I know that the medical students in Palestine are also learning in English. So I'm like, if they can do it, I can do it.
So American dream for you is to become a doctor.
Hopefully. If not, I'm also keeping my options open because I am a senior and I have to be realistic. I don't know if I want to be in school for 12 more years because it's like 4 years of medical school, 2 years of specialty, fellowship, all this stuff. I am 23, so for me, it's like, I don't know if I want to be in school for that long. So I'm also applying for the PA program. The Army has a PA program where you will be a student getting paid, and they'll pay for your school. It's the biggest PA producing program in America. So I'm keeping my options open, either PA school or medical school, depending on how I do on the MCAT.
So right now we called your goal in life American dream. But do you believe in the American dream as a concept here in America?
Absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, look at all these successful people that have made it. They came from nothing. You can come from nothing and make it in the United States if you utilize your resources and you are passionate. Because I don't think all the businesses, a lot of my friends, they are also foreign and they come here and they have that dream and I see them able to achieve it. I think it's tangible. I think it is. I haven't reached my goal yet, so I can tell you whenever I do reach it, but I do think it's possible. At least I'm hoping it is.
And what advice would you give to other people from Palestine in terms of coming to America right now?
Don't. I want my people to stay there. And we are known for being resilient. It's not something like us leaving is not us winning. Us staying there and fighting back. That's what we're known for as Palestinians. We are resilient. We are resilient like the olive trees that we're known for. We have roots. So it's never been a dream of leaving. We love our country. We love to stay there. So I would never recommend for anybody to leave their home country.
Welcome back to the American Dream Podcast. I'm here in the studio with Minna from Palestine.
Minna.
We're about Minna.
Minna.
God. You have such a pretty name and I cannot pronounce it right. It upsets
a lot of
me.
people take them a few times. I always tell people whenever I meet them it's Minna, like menopause, and they never get it wrong. I know it sounds bad, but Minna like menopause.
Minna, got it. Okay, I will remember it now. Minna from Palestine, thank you for visiting me today and thank you for sharing every thought that you have about the Palestine and the situation there. We're about to take a trip back to your homeland too, right now. And earlier you mentioned that you actually have a trip coming up.
I do.
In November, you go back to your homeland.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts on that? How do you feel? Is it your first time since you immigrated?
Yes. No. I went the first time since I immigrated was back in 2021, January. No, wait, that was wrong. 2023 in January. So it's been about 2 years now that I haven't been. And when I went there, because I wasn't 16, I didn't turn 16 there, I didn't get my Palestinian ID. So in their books, I was only just associated to my dad's ID, and I didn't have physical paper. So they held me up for hours at the checkpoints in Jordan and Israel. Told me if I don't have my Palestinian ID by 48 hours, I wouldn't be able to leave the country. So now I had to get dual citizenship.
Oh my God.
So now when I go back, I'm not allowed to use my American papers anywhere because they don't recognize it. They only recognize me as a Palestinian in Israel.
Very interesting.
Yeah.
Very complicated.
So I can't use their airport. I have to go to Jordan.
Oh my God.
And I'm going to have to do that again this time.
So it will be quite of a trip for you. It's going to be a long one.
They might not even let me in. I might have to be stuck in Jordan. We'll see.
So even though there is, big things and scary things happening in Palestine right now, you're still planning to go there. And I wanted you to tell our listeners why.
I think what makes Palestinians a lot different than a lot of people is that we don't care. We simply don't care. No matter what they do, we're never going to flee unless we see our home demolished. So for me, it's like my home is still there. My brother's still there. My dad is still there. I'm going to go. But a bigger reason why I'm going right now is because I was supposed to go last year. I was supposed to go there in the summer. War happened. Then I was supposed to go there in winter break. Thought the war would be over. Didn't happen. I was supposed to go this summer. Didn't happen. And I'm like, I'm not just going to keep waiting because I never know when the next opportunity might come. This might go on for years. And the man that raised me, not my father, but he was a father to me he was my wet nurse's husband. He raised me. He taught me religion. He taught me how to be a good person. My morals are his morals. He was a beacon in my life and who I am today. He got cancer. He was battling it, and right after I finished my finals for last semesters, my family told me that he died. And I called him dad. He was a dad to me. And he died, and I wasn't able to see him, say goodbye to him. I want to go pay my respect to his grave. I think for me, I have to get closure that he's no longer with us and see his place of burial. And I'm not scared. I'm not scared to go. I know who I am and what will happen to me there if I do go. I know no matter what happens, I'll be okay. I know it sounds like a big risk. I told my family and my friends that I'm going, and they thought I was crazy. But I know my dad's going to come pick me up from the checkpoints. And I speak multiple languages, so I can get by. And if my family's still alive, I'll be alive. We'll see. Just have to keep myself from getting a little bit mouthy.
So let's say it's a couple years from now, everything is good, everything is over, Palestine is a beautiful country, it's still there, big and healthy. What do you expect for a person who wants to travel there and they just landed in Palestine? What are they going to see? What kind of people live in Palestine?
So because we are, we have Christians, Jewish people, and Muslims, we are very diverse. Because the whole country is very devout. When they call it the Holy Land, you really feel holy in there. You step foot in Jerusalem, and the emotions that you get, the view itself is just amazing. The food is even better. The people.
And it's all kosher food, right?
Kosher and halal.
Kosher and halal.
Yeah. Christians are allowed to eat pork there, and they do. But in Jerusalem itself, I don't think they have pork. But in Bethlehem, you probably can't find those things. But the emotional peace that you feel while there, even by people that are not Palestinian or Israeli visiting, they experience the same thing. So you get to go to Al-Aqsa Mosque, which is where Prophet Muhammad did. There was a whole big story about it. He did pilgrimage there. So we also do pilgrimage there. Jewish people have the Weeping Wall, which they go and pay homage to as well. And then we have Bethlehem, which is where Jesus was born. And you walk into it and you feel like you got transformed to a different realm, honestly. But aside from that, we have a lot of beautiful nature. So I grew up in the mountains. I'm a mountain girl. The weather in Palestine is similar to California with less pollution. So think it never really gets crazy. It's always mild. It's like we get a little bit of winter. We might get one snow here and there, but it stays kind of, it's cool in the winter, but it's never like here, like
freezing
negative
cold.
50. Summers, we don't really even need AC because it's just mild. At least that's how it was back then. Spring is just gorgeous, absolutely gorgeous. Think just wildflowers everywhere, a lot of birds. There's a lot of, wildlife there. Like, we have a lot of sheep and we have a lot of, I don't know, it's just beautiful there. But since I've been to the United States, I wanted the United States to challenge me in finding a good beach. But no beach has topped the Mediterranean beach for me, at least on the Palestinian coast.
Yes, I've seen it yesterday in the travel show.
Gosh.
It's absolutely gorgeous. There's also Dead Sea there.
There is a Dead Sea.
Yes.
So the Mediterranean Sea is not rocky. It feels like soft sand. The smell is just beautiful. The sunsets are the best. We have a lot of playgrounds on the beach. But the Dead Sea, now that's a fun experience, but it burns. I went through it one time. I couldn't stay there for too long. It burnt my skin. But you can float there. There's no animals living there. It's the lowest point on Earth.
And there's so much salt in there that you can just float. You don't, like, even the people who can't swim like me.
Yeah.
You can just, like, float
You can
there.
absolutely float, and it's very medicinal. People come to it from all over the world to see it. Half of the Dead Sea is owned by us. The other half is owned by Jordan because it is a connecting point. We have Nazareth there. Nazareth is beautiful. Our top point, I forget the name of the city. I think it's called Jabalia. It is it's like Mount Rainier there. It's beautiful, and it's like you can see the peak. It's snowy, and surrounded by it, there's a lot of hot springs.
So where should a tourist stop for the first time? For the first time in Palestine, where should they stop first?
Jerusalem.
Jerusalem.
I go to Jerusalem, then I go to Jaffa, then I would go, or Tel Aviv, then I would go to Nazareth. I go to Dead Sea. Dead Sea outside of the city is called Jericho. We have call them telefreaks, which it's like have you ever been to a ski resort and you go through those slopes?
No, but that's my dream.
Well, we have that, but instead of it being snow underneath you, it's banana trees. You're just like all on top and you just look down, it's a bunch of bananas.
What?
It's amazing. Like, that's my favorite memories from my childhood.
That's awesome.
So definitely go to Jericho. And Jericho's also warm all year long because it's a low point on Earth. I don't know how it works with geography, but it stays warm all year round.
How expensive is it to travel to Palestine? Because yesterday I saw a travel show about Tel Aviv, and it was pretty expensive. They spent like $5,000 there.
Israeli part.
Yeah.
Israeli part is a lot more expensive. So if you go to Jordan and you go and stay in the West Bank, it's not very expensive.
Okay.
Our food is very cheap and delicious and fresh. It's not processed. That's a big thing. Food there. Food is not processed. You taste God when you taste the food there. It's like the food has more flavor, more smell, tastes amazing, and it's like cheap. Here you go and buy like tomatoes. You buy them by the piece, and each piece is like a 50 cents. No, you buy like a big bag, and you buy by the kilo, and it's like a big bag of tomatoes is like $3.
So it's not too expensive for a tourist with dollars to travel to Palestine.
Correct, and especially if you do a lot of your traveling in the West Bank, and if you're smart about how you transport. So the most expensive thing for you going from America to Palestine or wherever is going to be the plane ticket.
Of course.
It's going to be around like $1,500 if you buy it last minute. But other than that, like going around, we use a lot of public transportation, which saves a lot of gas. The food is fresh and not processed, so it's also not very expensive. And the dollar and the shekel is what we use there. It's Israeli currency. I think $1 is like 3.5 shekels.
So you'll have more money there.
Correct. Yes.
How long is the flight?
So a lot of times they have connecting flights.
That'll be like 2-day travel.
A 2-day travel, yeah. I think mine is gonna be about a day and some change because I don't have as many stops, but on the way back it's gonna be 2 days.
So let's talk about food now. You mentioned that food, is so natural. It's not processed. It's great, smelling and tasting. What are some local, cuisine to try? Name some dishes.
Yes. So everybody's gonna tell you about the kebabs and the hummus, and that's wonderful and amazing. But that's not what we eat at home. We eat at home. We have a lot of hearty meals that are super healthy for you, that don't make you constipated or have GI issues. So we eat a lot of like stuffed cabbage rolls. We eat a lot of stuffed things. We love stuffing vegetables. So we have rolled grape leaves. We call it. Some people call it dolma. I'm sure you probably heard of it because I think
dolma.
Dolma, yeah,
yes.
Similar to it, but we make it a little bit different. We have this thing called matlube, which is rice, cauliflower. Sometimes they add eggplant, a source of meat, and then we cook it for hours and hours.
And once again, all of this is kosher, right?
All of this is kosher. Except one. So kosher is the Jewish term for their food. What we use is halal.
Okay.
So for food to be halal, it is there's no pork. The meat is cut in a specific way. So before we have to be kind of gentle with the animal. We pray on it, and then we make sure that it doesn't see other animals getting slaughtered, so it doesn't get that cortisol and that pain in front of it. And then we make sure it's one cut where it's not suffering, and we drain the blood out to get rid of that gamey smell. So we pray on it. We make sure that it's cut in a very humane way. And we make sure that it doesn't suffer, and we drain the blood out completely.
Wow.
So that's what makes something halal. So no pork and being good with the animal. Kosher is a little bit different. I think with kosher, they can't mix milk products and meat. But we do.
Okay.
We have one of our national dishes called mensef. So we have this yogurt-based dry cheese that we, it's kind of sour, a little bit sour, a little bit salty. We used it in the beginning back in the day to preserve milk products, so we have them longer, but now it became kind of a cultural dish. So we would break it up because it becomes it's like a ball, a dry ball. You can store it in your cabinets. We cut it up, and then we blend it with water, and then we add it, and then we put meat. Typically, you want to use a lamb chop, like good hearty lamb meat. And we boil it. We add some herbs and flavors to it, and then we serve it with rice. And this is a specific type of bread, and it's delicious. It becomes like a soup. And it's delicious. But what I would encourage you the most to eat if you go to Palestine, to eat a lot of fresh fruits and vegetables. You will never experience fresh fruits and vegetables like it is there, because we don't have a lot of GMOs and things like that. It just grows out of this ground and we eat it. It just has a specific flavor. No matter what you
probably eat the same and lose weight there too.
Correct. I was eating, when I went home, my brother was feeding me like 4,000 calories a day, and I was still losing weight.
Yes.
Because you walk a lot of places as well. Like, we promote walking from point A to point B, so we stay active. And then, I don't know, it just tastes better, and it doesn't feel like... I never had GI issues back home. Now I get bloated all the time, which is a big thing.
Same. When I went to Russia last time, 6 or 7 years ago, I lost 20 pounds in a week. Just because I was eating like everything, but I was still losing weight because there was no of those like chemicals in the food and disgusting processed things.
You make everything out of scratch, but we really embody the Mediterranean diet.
Yeah,
Mediterranean diet is now used as holistic medicine. We eat the olive oil, the cold pressed olive oil straight from the tree, and it really promotes a lot of health benefits.
And you mentioned a little bit about transportation in Palestine. What is the best way to transport as a tourist? Should you rent? Should you get a taxi or a bus? Should you walk?
You just literally just point out a taxi and you just go. You'll be in the middle of the street. You extend your arm out and a taxi will come and get you.
Okay.
And it's very affordable most of the time, and they'll take you from where you need directly to the door of the next place that you need to go to.
How safe is it?
Very.
So if you're a woman, let's say like I'm going to Palestine for the first time, I'm wearing like a short skirt. Should I wear something like that or should I not?
I wouldn't, because when you go as a tourist, you don't want to stand out. You'd want to blend in to get the best experience and to respect the people around you. I feel like if you go to a place where everybody there is, modest, you'd want to kind of respect what they have going on. So I don't. Whenever I go home, I dress very modestly.
Even though it's hot in the summer, you still should wear a little bit like longer sleeves.
It's doable because the weather is not like here.
So it's not like humid?
No, we don't have humidity home. Not at all. We don't have
dry
any humidity. Humidity was the first thing for me here. But I wouldn't. I mean, if you'd wear something light, like a light long sleeve, I've never been molested. I've never been robbed. None of my family has neither. No molested, not robbed. It's very safe for women. It's actually extremely safe for women. I'm not scared to walk down the street at like 9 p.m. at night by myself. Back home. For women, I want to really emphasize this. The reason why Islam promotes women to dress modestly is not to protect her from a man, but it's more like this man, the strange man walking down the street, has not paid you any respect or honor to see your beauty. Has he paid for your bills? Has he taken care of you? Has he honored you? What has he done to have the honor of seeing your beauty?
That's a very good approach. So I should say this to my boyfriend.
It's not about,
where is my ring?
Yeah. You don't give men more than they deserve. Has he honored you? Has he paid your bills? Has he taken care of you? Has he respected your heart? He hasn't done any of those. So it's not to protect her from the man, but the man hasn't earned the right to enjoy her. Only a man that takes care of you. It's more like
self-respect.
It is. It really is. And I love it. Absolutely love it.
So you wear hijab when you go back home or not?
Out of choice, but not every place I want to. My dad knows this and he's very okay with it. Like, it's more of... We don't beat women up for that. Like, it remains my choice. But when I go there because I want to blend in and I want to respect my people, I do it. And you'll find even Christian women, they either veil or they are with their hair, but they dress modestly. We don't really have a lot of, immodest behavior there that we do. So it's more about respect yourself and people around you.
So do a little bit of research before you go to Palestine, what you should wear and, how you should approach people and things like that.
Now, in Israel, whenever you go, let's say you go to the beach, you'll find people in bikinis.
Yes, like Tel Aviv.
Yeah.
I saw what they
Yeah.
do in Tel Aviv, and it's completely different from
Because it's a
Jerusalem.
lot more westernized too. I don't think it even fits the Jewish narrative of modesty there either. But because it's become more of a Western area.
Very interesting for me to hear. This is completely. I've never spoken to anyone from such, Muslim countries
Yeah.
before, and it's very different from what people say from, Mexico or other Latin countries.
Yeah.
How people approach people there, and how unsafe it is
Yeah.
there in some
I wouldn't
parts.
call Palestine an Islamic country because then again, we have all three Abrahamic religions. We're a devout country. We are more of a conservative country when it comes to that sense.
Absolutely. So, okay, now let's talk a little bit about hidden gems and maybe off the beaten paths of Palestine. Something that maybe tourists often overlook and you as a native wish more people knew about it.
I wish more people got away from the regular kebabs. Like, really try the different foods. Like, find a local. Find a local and ask them if you can eat at their house. And most of the time, they'll say yes. We're very generous people. We are very generous. And we love foreign people when they come visit us. I want you to understand, people are very hospitable there. We take hospitality, like, that is in our blood. So if you go there, find a local. And that local will show you around. A big thing is clothes. That's a hidden gem there. So for us, I don't know why it's different than here. Maybe because we're a more consumer-based country. The quality of the clothes is so much better. I bought so many heels here. And in Palestine, my dad bought me a pair of heels when we went to Bethlehem. And I still wear that heel every single week at least once. And it has never hurt my feet. And it was $5. So I'm saying if you go there, maybe the heels, if you're a woman, or the clothes. The products there are just made better. I think because people like things that last a little bit longer. So I would kind of look into those. I wouldn't go there with buying, I wouldn't go there with a lot of clothes. I'd buy clothes if I go there from there.
What about culture of Palestinian people? You mentioned that your parents are first cousins.
They are.
So something like this as a culture shock for me, it was a culture shock when I heard it from you. Something to not be maybe scared off as a person of a different country and culture when you see it. Do people, by the way, in Palestine have multiple wives?
So the whole multiple wives thing is a Muslim thing. It's not a Christian or a Jewish
once
thing.
again.
It's only a Muslim thing. And it is not very common, but it does happen. So there are rules for that. The first rule is the wife has to consent. Your current wife has to give you the blessings to do it. And when you do it, you have to show proof that you can take care of both of these wives equally. And if one of them feels like she is being treated unjustly by you, she has a right to go to the court and be like, hey, I'm not getting what I need out of it, and I would like to be out. And you have every right to. So both parties have to consent, the first wife and the second wife. And you have to be able to provide for them, show them respectful, be respectful, have time for both of them. So my maternal grandfather, he had two wives. So the first wife he stayed with for, I think, 30 years, and she didn't give him any children. So she went, while still married to him, and found him my maternal grandmother because she wanted him to have children.
So it wasn't him looking for another wife. It was
a
her.
mutual decision.
Oh, okay.
It was a mutual decision, but she's the one that found her for him. And back then it was a lot of arranged marriages too. I mean, it was that was 1960s probably. And they both raised my uncles and aunts together, both of my grandmothers. My mom would call her mom. And it was a mutual understanding. I mean, people here, they go cheat on their wives all the time.
Oh, yeah.
At least here, he still paid respect to both wives, loved them together, and he told her to go choose whoever she wanted for him to have. So it is, you have to have probable cause. Not just because you want to have two wives. You have to have probable cause. She couldn't give him children. He wanted children. He had a big farm, and he wanted some of his children to help out, to inherit some of it, because they spent all their lives together. My grandfather didn't have his first child until 60s, he was in his 60s. But when it comes to cousins, we don't interact with our cousins like you guys do here. Not you guys, but Americans in general. We don't treat them like brothers. We have distance and space when it comes to that kind of stuff. We remain modest around our cousins. We don't treat them like strangers, But we don't get so involved here like they do there. You always see your cousin as a man, not a
brother.
But we do try. It is encouraged in Islam for you to stay away from the family. But under specific circumstances, for my family, there was a lot of inheritance issues, and they thought, why not combine so the money stays in the family? But a lot of times people want to get married to their cousins because this person has known me all their life. He's gonna treat me well. He is in the family, so if he does cross me, it will stay in the family. But it's not very common. Like my brother didn't marry his cousin. He has thousands of cousins. He didn't marry that. It has to be a choice. A choice.
So it's not just your parents tell you you're gonna marry this man or you're gonna die.
Yeah, no, it's not like that. My father would never ever do that to me.
So it sounds like to me that in Palestine, women are very much respected.
Absolutely. Like when I go home, my brother treats me like a princess. I don't have to lift groceries. I don't have to work if I don't want to. His money is my money, and my money is my money. So he's gonna provide for me regardless. I'm entitled to get my education. You are treated like a princess. Like I've never felt more loved.
Interesting. So, for example, a foreign woman goes to Palestine and she meets this wonderful Muslim or Muslim man who has multiple wives. Can she marry him if she's foreign?
She absolutely can. But I will give you the warning right now. Yes, he will treat you like a princess and he will love you and adore you. You never have to work a day of your life you don't want to. But they have standards when it comes to how you dress. They want you to be modest because that's what they grew up around. They want you to respect your body. So he is doing all these things for you. Because then again, we go back to the hijab situation. It's like only a man that respects you, honors you, pays your bill, takes care of you, should enjoy you. So he probably wouldn't want you to be super immodest around other men. Now, different men have different standards to that extent. Some might want you to just cover up your arms and legs and not show a lot of cleavage. Some might want you to cover up with a hijab, but it is absolutely in your right to marry a man from that country or from that religion.
Wow. Let's talk a little bit about festivals now and interesting traditions to see while in Palestine. What is the best time of year to visit Palestine?
The best time would be spring. We have really good spring. Our spring lasts from February up until like May, June.
That's important to know because spring to me is March through May.
Right. No, our spring is a lot longer and it's a lot prettier.
And that's only because of weather. Is there any festivals going on at that time?
We don't really do a lot of festivals because we have holidays. So we have 2 Eids. So we have Ramadan, and right after Ramadan we have Eid al-Fitr, which means the celebration of eating. You finally are able to eat and appreciate everything that you went through during the month of fasting. And then we have another one. It's called Eid al-Adha. So for that month, for those days, we will either buy a lamb, a goat, or a cow, and we will take it to a butcher shop, slaughter it, and give it to everybody that has needs. So anybody that is poor will get meat, so they're not starving and they can actually eat meat. So you give it to your neighbors and the people that are in need. Along with that, you could also buy groceries and give to those people in need. But when you're celebrating, everybody gets a new outfit. Everybody dresses in their best outfits. The men will go to every woman relative's house or elderly's house that they know, and they will pay them homage. They will eat desserts. We have this thing called Fatayr Eid, which is it has dates in it. It's really delicious, and we have powdered sugar on top of it. So you go there, drink coffee, and eat those cookies, and then you go around. The kids all get money from the male family members, sometimes the mothers too. But we get a lot of money as children from that.
Interesting. So you mentioned, you've said something in Arabic already, like a name of a dish already, and it reminded me that I always ask my guests to teach me a little bit of their native language here on the podcast. So teach me a little bit of your language. I want to try to pronounce something.
Okay, so our alphabet is a little bit different. So we have certain letters that are just not found in, I don't think, Russian or English. I don't know. I'm not very well versed on the Russian language, but say those letters with me to see if you can at least get them in your brain. So the first one is kha.
Kha.
That's good.
Okay.
Ha.
Ha.
So it's between a ha and a gut, like a, think like your throat is dry. Ha.
Ha.
Not a ha. It's a ha.
Ha.
Close. And another one is Ein.
Ein.
Good. What about غين?
Rain.
غين. Good. Very good. طا.
Ta.
It's like your tongue to the roof of your mouth, but not the middle of the roof, like the front of the roof. طا.
Ta.
You're saying more of a th. It's a طا.
Ta.
Good.
Okay.
Close.
Okay.
So you say like طيب. طيب means okay, that's fine.
Tayyib.
طيب is it's fine.
So as a tourist, what is the important sentence to know in Palestine? Like, help, or where's the restroom, or hi, how are you?
Okay, so if you want to go to the bathroom, you say hammam.
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 Hammam. Okay.
Hello is marhaba.
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 English is always gonna get, like, I don't speak it, like English. You just say English and they're gonna get it. A lot of people there speak English, so you'll be good.
Okay.
Like we're taught English, French, and Arabic.
So if you are an American tourist, you speak English, you will not have any problem there with communication.
Yeah, so many people speak English, especially if you say like bathroom, they're all gonna know what bathroom is. But if you want to learn a little bit, that's up to you. That's your prerogative.
Is there any proverbs that you guys say only in Palestine or Palestine?
Oh, there's a lot. That's like literally our whole entire culture.
Maybe like a funny thing, funny anecdote.
The monkey is a gazelle in the eyes of his mother. So we say قرد في عين أم غزال. So let's say like you start seeing this man and he's not very handsome, but you find him handsome. We say the monkey is a gazelle in his mother's eyes.
Ah, interesting.
I know, right? So the beauty, like the equivalent for that would be like beauty is in the eye of the beholder. But we go a little bit funnier with it. اللي على راسه بطحة يحسس عليها, which means whoever has a head wound keeps feeling it, which is like the meaning of it is like a guilty person will give himself like away. So like the equivalent would be a tongue turns to the aching tooth. It's like a little bit. They're a little bit funny. This is my favorite. My dad used to always say this one. So it says, I say to him, it's a bull, and he responds, milk it. So it means like if you refer to a situation where like somebody goes on to repeat the same argument over and over again, even though he has been contradicted repeatedly.
Interesting. Okay.
So you keep telling him like, hey, like this is a jar. No, he tells you no, it's not a jar, it's a bottle, and it's like. You can't win with them.
Interesting.
We use these phrases every single day. We are like, that's our power moves.
And before we step into a break, what is a souvenir that somebody should bring with them after their travel is over in Palestine?
Kufiya. So that was an item I was going to show you later, which I will, but it's a representation of who we are. We have the Jordanian kufiya, which is red. We have the Palestinian kufiya, which is white and black. And we wear it with pride. We wear it as scarves. We wear it as hijabs. We wear it as decorations. We've made dresses out of it. It is our history. Once we go into it, I will show you why the Palestinian kufiya means so much to us and why it's became a symbol of resilience for Palestinians.
Welcome back to the American Dream Podcast. I'm here with Minna from Palestine, and this half of the podcast is always dedicated to the beautiful items that remind my guest of their homeland, which in your case, Palestine. And you already sent me a list of 4 things through our messages over here that remind you of home the most. So let's start with the first.
I don't have them with me at the moment because I left them in St. Louis. So I provided pictures.
So let's start with the first item. I can't read that because it's Arabic, but what is the first item you want to discuss?
Let's do the kufiya. So I'm sure a lot of you have probably seen the kufiya around. It's a scarf. A lot of people recently have been wearing it in solidarity with Palestine and what's going on. So the kufiya we've been wearing for years, like decades, maybe if not the whole century. But it is a scarf men will wear on top of their head, and they will put a little round thing on their head to keep it secure. Some people wear it as a scarf just around their neck in the winter just to keep them warm. Some girls wear it as hijab. I've seen Bella Hadid recently made a dress out of it, and it looked stunning. We have different colors and variations of it. Some cities have their own colors, but the main Palestinian one that we know is the black and white. Jordan is known for the red one, but we still wear the red one too, because us and Jordans are mostly, Jordanians are Palestinian refugees, so we're all in solidarity. But what makes it so special is if we look at the design of the kufiya, it is made out of 3 different designs that are very important. So the first one is to signal the railroads that we used to have before we got occupied. We used to have a very intricate railroad that ran through Palestine. The second one is the nets of our fishermen that before the occupation we used to be fishermen and they used that net. So we are using that to symbolize what we are. And the most important one, to me at least, is the olive tree pattern. So we have the olive leaves. And that's because olive tree is a big, big symbol in Palestine. So olive trees are what we are known for. We cold press a lot of olives. We make fresh olive oil. We eat olives for breakfast. We eat olive oil for breakfast as well. And it's a symbol of how resilient we are as people. The roots of an olive tree go deep, deep into the earth. And it symbolizes how resilient that we are staying in our country despite years of war. So right now, this kufiya is a symbol for a lot of people. So when I see it out in public and somebody is wearing it, I feel safe and happy and heard and seen.
Mm-hmm. Do you have it at home?
I do. I have 3.
You have 3,
I have 3.
all different designs?
They're all the same design, but I got a better quality one when I went last time. So
Interesting.
That's why I kept
you got them from Palestine.
Yeah, they do sell them here online. They're a little bit more pricey for some reason online here because they have to be made. A true Palestinian kufiya is made by the company Herbawi. And for them to have to ship it from Palestine takes a lot. That's why the price tag is a little bit high. It's like $40, but it's well made. It's warm. It feels good. And it has a lot of symbolism into it.
So if an American person wants to get the scarf right now, where should they go? Is that a website like Amazon or?
Hirbawi.
Okay.
Herbawi, I think is the right spelling. You can just put kufiya, Keffyeh, kufiya.
Buy online.
Buy online.
And you will find it.
And it is, I've seen it since I was young. You walk around, people are wearing it all the time, and
it's a beautiful scarf.
Us. It is who we are.
Yes, I saw it online on TikTok plenty of times too. It's a beautiful scarf. It's very long too.
It is very long, and you can tie it in different ways. The fabric is very nice. It's made out of 100% cotton.
So what is the next item you want to discuss?
The next item is we call zet uzatar. So zet uzatar is a breakfast for us.
Interesting.
It might seem like simple, so we eat it with pita bread, olive oil in one plate, and then the zatar, which is thyme, in another plate. So the thyme mixture, it has sumac, obviously the thyme, and other herbs like a little bit of salt, a little bit of pepper, but we dip it. So you dip the pita bread into the olive, and then you dip it into the thyme and sesame mixture, and then you eat it. And it might seem like really simple, but because after the occupation we don't have a lot of money and to get meat for breakfast and stuff, this has been a good alternative for us to stay healthy, and we eat it every day. We make sandwiches out of it. We make pastries out of it. It tastes really delicious, and it symbolizes how much we love olive oil and how much we love the thyme and the mixture that we do. So this is like a staple in everybody's home.
So do you still make it here in Springfield at home, or?
So I tried buying the mixture from, world grocery stores here, but they're not good. So I get mine from Palestine. I have somebody that is coming to visit. I'll just ask them to bring me some. My dad doesn't like it because he says it's like he has to chew so much. But my mom and I love it. It has a very distinct taste. You'll never taste anything like it because the mixture is not in normal American household ingredients.
Is it on the saltier side or sweeter side?
It's neither. I feel like it's balanced. Maybe it's a little bit salty depending on who made the mixture, if they like it a little bit salty. But it's not supposed to be overly powering salty. It's supposed to be something you can have for breakfast that is light and small, and still give you those nutrition.
Interesting. Okay, so moving on to the next item.
The next item I wanted to talk about was this image right here. We call this the Jamal al-Hamil, which means it's a camel that's carrying. So we see in this image, we hold this up a lot. We make, printouts of it to symbolize who we are as people. So this person, we don't know his religion and what he is, but we can tell he's Palestinian. He is an older man. He is holding the weight of his country on his shoulders. And he looks like he might be a refugee holding his home on his back. So he is told to leave his home. So he's trying to carry his home with him. But how can you carry a whole country?
Mm-hmm.
So for us, as simple as wherever we go, we are carrying who we are with us.
This is very symbolic for this episode too, for this podcast too.
So
I feel like this is every immigrant who moves to America. You can't carry your entire home on your shoulders.
And we try so hard. We try so hard wherever we go to tell people about who we are or spread a positive message about who we are. Or even just in like little micro things that you and I probably do in our day-to-day that we try to put a taste of who we are into.
Mm-hmm.
Like...
Mm-hmm.
I love to tell people I'm Palestinian. Some people might say, like, why do you keep telling people you're Palestinian? Because I carry the weight of who I am on my back, even though I'm no longer in my country. And I'm sure you do as well.
Absolutely.
Because you still love your country and you honor your childhood.
I love and hate it at the same time.
But you honor your childhood, the things that you grew up on and you loved as a child.
Absolutely.
So it's hard to just forget they exist when you're a refugee or an asylee, and that's what represents you. And as you can see, that's the Al-Aqsa Mosque. In one of the pictures.
Mm-hmm.
The Aqsa Mosque is where Muslims go to pay pilgrimage.
Interesting. Do you have this painting somewhere on a display in your current
I actually have
house?
it as my background photo on my computer.
Of course. Yes. Yeah. It's a beautiful photo, and it has a very big symbolism.
It does. And it keeps me as a person grounded. It reminds me of who I am, because I never want to lose who I am as a person. A lot of people, they come to America and they try to assimilate. They forget their own language. They forget what their ancestors did. And these are my ancestors. My ancestors drew this. And I always want to remember who I am, because who I am is a Palestinian
And then
woman.
pass it on to your future too.
Yeah. I never want to forget. I think I find it really sad. I think the reason why I also wanted to become an interpreter, I am an Arabic to English interpreter, is because I wanted to keep my language in my brain. I felt like if I wasn't actively using it, because I only speak to my mom in Arabic and my family back home, I'm going to forget it. But if it's my job, which I've been doing for 5 years now, I'm not going to forget it. I'm going to have to keep remembering it and keep my brain refreshed on all the terminology.
Absolutely.
And that was part of it.
Well, thank you so much,
you.
Minna,
Yes.
for visiting me today and sharing your beautiful, super inspiring
Thank you
story
for
here on the
having me.
American Dream
Appreciate
podcast.
it. I was really happy that I got introduced to you, because it's never really a lot of times where you feel like you can openly talk about who you are in your country and represent them in a way that some other people might be informed and enjoy learning about. So I appreciate you for having this podcast.
Thanks for tuning into the American Dream podcast. For more episodes, subscribe on your favorite platform, keep dreaming, and see you next time.